Today, we're going to talk about relieving stress. And if you're struggling with that, this is the session for you, because how we do anything is how we do everything. A lot of us are so stressed, we have poor time management, and one of the things we lack making time is for ourselves. And if you're willing to commit to your health and commit time to do that, you're going to continue to struggle year after year after year. So that's why I'm going to talk about this topic today. Welcome to the Heal Deal Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Leona Allen, and I'm here to help you achieve more freedom in your health and your life. I'm the founder of Freedom Health Systems, and I've been a licensed chiropractor and wellness coach for over 2 decades. I've helped men, women, and children transform their lives by removing the physical, chemical, and emotional barriers to natural healing. Every week, I'll be taking you on a journey where you will discover the real truth behind what it takes to heal your mind, body, and soul. Allow me to be your guide as you travel this road to renewed health and a new life. It's time to make a deal with yourself to heal yourself. Please keep in mind that this podcast is for educational purposes only and not to be used as a replacement for medical diagnosis or treatment. With that said, let's begin. When we encounter stress, instead of just giving up and going get ice cream or a drink, we have to say to ourselves, how am I going to get through this? Is this something I can control? How am I going to figure this out? Don't give up. And that's the attitude we have to have. I practice what I preach. So I don't just say stuff, I live it. I have my challenges, I have my struggles, and we learn to get through it and it gets easier. It's the same thing with our healing journeys, okay? Sometimes we get stuck, sometimes we get frustrated, but a lot of us let go too soon or give up too soon. But what we have to do is push through the challenges, because actually we don't learn when everything is good. We don't learn when it's something we already know how to do. We learn when we hit those obstacles and when we have to figure out the next step, when we get challenged, when we have to use our brains, use our mental muscles. That's when you learn. When things get hard, you don't learn when things are easy. So I want you to remember that, because right now a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do this. This is so much. I've been on all these meds. I've been struggling with this for 20 years. Okay, you got all this stuff going on. It's stressful. But now's the time to use that stress and don't let it hold you back. So this is a very important topic, because it's not only important because we need to handle stress. This is my middle name, and stress was slowly killing me inside, very slowly. But what we have to learn to do is use this stress to push us out of that place of pain. And sometimes we're in that healing place. It gets stressful. We worry. What if this doesn't work? What if I give in? Why do I keep having these cravings again? We got to use that. All right. So let's talk about what stress is. Because a lot of us relate to stress as, oh, I got all this on my to-do list. I got the kids. I got the husband. I got the yard. I got the dog. I got work. All right. And that's kind of how we think of stress, and we push ourselves through all our to-do lists. But what we don't understand is the negative effects that stress has on our body and the different kinds of stress. Now, we know about that outer stress, that we have a lot to do, a lot of things on our plate. But there's also that inner stress, the stress of imbalanced hormones, the stress of nutritional deficiencies. So one thing piles on the other, and there's so many more things I could talk about. But once you understand the overall definition of stress, then it'll all make sense. Are you doing everything right, but still battling fatigue, brain fog, and weight that just won't budge? Here's the truth. It's not your willpower, it's your metabolism, and I can show you exactly how to fix it. I just released a free breakthrough training that reveals why 88% of Americans are metabolically broken and the 3-phase system that reverses it. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start seeing real results, go to beginhealingtoday.com. Again, that's beginhealingtoday.com, and you'll also find this link in the description. Now back to the episode. So this is the scary thing about stress. The stress that I'm concerned about, that you're really going to understand today, is that hidden stress, that stress that you don't feel, that stress that is destroying your heart and your liver and your digestive system. This is a stress that's more dangerous than your boss or your children or your dog or the paycheck. I know these things exist, but we need to start thinking about the stresses that really hurt our bodies and that really matter. Because some of this stuff that we deal with, we can change. But if you continue to stress out of these little things, I'm not saying that our children are little things, but some of us stress out over a dent in the mailbox or whatever. We get stressed out over so many things we can't control, but we have to stop worrying about some of these things, okay? These are the things that we need to start focusing on. So first, you know I love definitions. So what is stress really? What we all know is stress is a state of worry and mental tension caused by the difficult situations that I've mentioned. And in reality, to avoid stress, you have to avoid life. We have to deal with the kids, the job, the spouse, if you have one, the house, the bills. We have a lot to deal with. But some of us have not learned to manage it well. And we want to avoid it and shut ourselves out and just hide, right? Hide behind the pain. But that is not going to benefit you. We have to learn how to deal with this stuff in a healthy way. We can't avoid life. We have to learn to face things head on. And this is important. I'm going to say this over and over again because I'll say 90% of my coaching is helping men and women, more women than men. One thing about men, you tell them to do something, they usually do it. They're very laser focused. When they make their mind up to do something, they're going to do it. Women, we tend to want to do something and then come up with 20 reasons why we shouldn't. We're like, yeah, I'm going to lose weight. And then we'll come up with, but I got this and I got that. Am I right, ladies? But the thing is, we do that to ourselves. But I'm going to teach you how to overcome this. So if this is you, keep listening. So, your daily stress sources: demanding job pressures, financial responsibilities, family and relationship demands, the mental load of caring for everyone. That's another thing about a lot of my clients. We're caregivers. We take care of everybody else, but give ourselves the breadcrumbs. And we have to stop doing that, ladies. Okay, if that's you, I'm going to free some of you up today, all right? We can do this without feeling selfish or guilty. We're navigating bias and barriers, all right? There's, just people just look at us and make judgments about who we are and what we do and what we're capable of. We're dealing with poor food choices, medications. All this we're dealing with every single day. And the thing is, this becomes dangerous. But first, we got to understand what type of stress becomes dangerous. Because in some aspects, stress is actually helpful. It's protective. And that's more the short-term stress. It focuses attention. It motivates action. All right. In other cases, when you touch a hot stove, that stress or that heat hitting your skin, you're going to take quick action and take your hand away. You're running from danger, a dog, a bear, a lion, whatever it is. You're focusing your attention and you're motivating action. That's when it's important. The stress I'm talking about is that chronic stress. And beyond the long hours of work, all right? Beyond that, I'm talking about that destructive chronic stress, that emotional stress, that chemical stress, year after year after year, that eventually leads to depression, burnout, and metabolic damage. It gets to the point where it becomes so destructive, you don't even want to do anything anymore. So what's so sad about what I see with a lot of people? Their bodies are so destructive. Their mindset becomes destructive. And what happens is they're so stressed mentally, they've lost the hope of even wanting to heal at all. And that's when I say, when it's like I help people that are ready to be helped and choose to be helped, when someone is in that place where they just give up, they have destroyed their hope to a point where they don't want to do anything anymore, it is very hard to reach that person. It is very hard to help somebody that doesn't want to be helped anymore or doesn't believe they can be helped. And the reason why they got that way is because of that chronic stress. People didn't wake up like that. People that are depressed didn't wake up like that. That was a side effect or a result of all the ongoing stress. Because a lot of the depression that we see out there, and I'm speaking from my personal experience, I dealt with a lot of depression. And I found out that a lot of my depression was because of my cellular inflammation, because of my fatty liver, because of my digestive issues. And once I started to heal, I don't deal with that depression. Yeah, there's days I feel sad. There's days I feel emotional. But it's not that depression where I didn't want to get out of bed. It's not that depression where sometimes I just didn't want to live anymore. I've had those moments, but I don't have that anymore. Nothing gets so bad that I want to end it all. Okay. So I take this part seriously because not only have I lived it, I see it happen to so many other people. So we have to take our health seriously. We got to stop accepting this result of not taking care of ourselves. We got to understand how our body works. A lot of these things that I've talked about is our alarm system. It's screaming at you for help. But we have learned so well to mask these symptoms. Okay, can't sleep, take a pill. Can't wake up, take a pill. Can't lose weight, take a shot. So the thing I'm saying is we have to stop shutting off our body's alarm system. And that's the fight or flight response. So remember where I said that the short-term stress is helpful? This is the fight or flight. Again, it focuses our attention and it motivates action. When we're dealing with that fight or flight response, so listen, people with hypertension and all these things, I want you to listen to this carefully. Now, this is with healthy stress. Your heart rate is going to elevate. You're going to get that rapid heart rate. You're going to get those blood pressure spikes. We got blood sugar surges. We got breathing that becomes rapid, that rapid breathing. And your digestion shuts down. And the reason why that happens is your heart is beating. All this is happening so you can get out of danger. All that blood, sugar is energy. So your blood sugar surges to get more energy into those muscles. Heart rate increases so you can run. All right? You're running from the bear, running from the bear. You're climbing that tree, whatever you got to do to get to safety. And then once you're safe, whew, that was close. You're in the tree, you're resting, bear done moved on. And then finally, you're able to go back to what you're doing. So what happens is a lot of us are still in that tree waiting for that bear to come back. Some of you are like, oh, is it there? Is it going to come back? You're just stuck in that tree. You'll never coming down again. You're like, I saw that bear one time. I'm never going to walk again. I'm never camping again. I'm never eating honey again. Whatever it is, okay? But a lot of you are in that state. So when I talk about people having high blood pressure, you're in that tree trying to save yourself from a bear that's long gone. Your blood pressure still spikes because you're in that tree. Your blood sugar is still high and now you're diabetic because of that bear that is long gone. This is the best analogy I can give you all because a lot of us are being medicated for these chronic stress issues. That's why I'm so passionate about talking about this, because you can have the perfect diet. You could be doing all the things. A lot of you, I've done everything, intermittent fasting, keto. Why am I not losing weight? You're probably stressed about the program. I mean, a lot of us are. You're probably stressed because the scale isn't moving. You're probably stressed because of some other things that you're not aware of. You're probably stressed because you're probably eating a lot of foods that's not food. So I just wanted to spend some time talking about this because this is the number one thing that is holding 90% of you back. So the stress chemical overload. So I kind of talked about what's happening in your body during short-term stress, but what's happening is your short-term stress has turned into long-term. But I'm just saying a lot of us do that. I'm not doing another program because the other 30 didn't work. Or, oh, I'm too old, or I don't have time, or I don't know. I've been hurt, I've been conned, I've been lied to, I ain't doing it anymore. I get it. But I know I'm hitting some buttons because I've had the conversations. I know what holds us back. It's not the salad that you eat every day and the water you're drinking and your famous mug that you got special for water with the labels on it that tells you how much you drink. It's the stress. We need to learn how to handle the stress because of these chemicals I'm about to share with you. Adrenal glands. These are the stress handling organs. I remember when I tested my adrenal glands when I was 30. The doctor said, my health coach at the time said, oh my goodness, if you don't get these under control, you're going to be miserable in a few years. And he was right. So a lot of my issues started a long time because it was my adrenals. All right. That was one of the problems I had. This was before diabetes and fatty liver disease, but it did start with adrenals. I guess by 30, my body was maxed out with stress, college and relationships and all kinds of stuff, right? So when the adrenals work overtime, again, these are our stress handling organs. The adrenaline, this is one of the hormones secreted by the adrenals. It's secreted during stress, all right? Or adrenaline junkies. When we think of adrenaline, we think of jumping out of a plane, but we can secrete these without, doing something adventurous. It could be from a deadline. It could be from a wedding. So adrenaline is one of those things that gets you kind of revved up. And then some of us are adrenaline junkies and we have to keep that high. And then when it crashes, we feel bored. We feel unfulfilled. So we have to do something dangerous again to get that back up. That's what people are going through. But when this happens, it slows fat burning. It increases water retention. It increases toxic buildup. So yes, some of us are addicted to adrenaline. And then the other one that a lot of the ladies are familiar with is cortisol. We talk about the cortisol belly. We want to know our cortisol levels. And I do measure those, by the way. But cortisol is that belly fat storage. We all want those six packs, right? But if you're dealing with stress, you're elevating cortisol, and that's what stimulates belly fat storage. I can look at the belly and tell what kind of belly it is. I can tell if it's a cortisol belly, an insulin belly, a liver belly. They're all shaped differently. But that cortisol belly is that lower thirds kind of fat. That's that cortisol. You're probably losing weight everywhere else, but your belly isn't. It's cortisol. It's stress. And it also leads to muscle breakdown. You're going to the gym, you can't lose weight, you're not building muscle, cortisol. And also insulin resistance. So elevated cortisol also creates insulin resistance. Insulin resistant makes you store fat. When you have insulin resistant, the body no longer hears insulin and glucose can no longer get into the cell for energy. So those of you with chronic high cortisol are tired all the time because your body can't create energy and your body can't burn fat. Your body can't build muscle either. So I'm taking time with this one because it's so important. All right. So let's talk about some of these triggers. Now you know what it looks like and what's going on in your body. The more you understand what's happening inside, I believe the more you'll take care of it. Yeah, the diets are cute and everything, but the diet may not be working for you if you don't know how your body works. The timing of how we eat. Sometimes it's not what you eat, it's how you eat it, how you prepare it, and when you eat it. Because the body has like a circadian rhythm that you have to work with, a flow. Back in the day, our ancestors weren't going to Kroger every day. They were harvesting their food. They were eating what was in season, what was available. They didn't have constant access to food like we do now. So we're going so against nature now, and our body is screaming for help. So we have to learn how to navigate in such a busy world, but still support our natural processes. So your cortisol spikes when you're anticipating stressful events, working under tight deadlines, dealing with upsetting situations, and exercising intensely. Now, the reason why I added exercising intensely is because a lot of you, when you want to lose weight, you want to get healthy, the first thing the doctor tells you, even the doctor says, eat less, exercise more. So you are exercising more. But I'm the one that says, stop exercising to some of my clients. Because what happens is when the body is already stressed, it already can't function. Exercise is adding more stress to your body, but you don't know that. You need to understand what is going on and what it needs. Your body might not need more exercise. Your body needs rest. We got to learn to rest. Some of you are trying to change the diet. You're over exercising. You're staying up to 2 or 3 in the morning and wondering, oh my gosh, why can't I lose weight? We got to put these pieces together and stop playing with this. There's consequences to this elevated cortisol. Your bones get weak, high blood pressure. The majority of you are dealing with high blood pressure. This is what you got to look at. It's not a lisinopril deficiency. It's probably elevated cortisol, all this sugar, and all these chemicals that you're eating, and all this stress that you're not managing. It also causes a suppressed immunity. Allergies, asthma, that's all part of immunity. Muscle loss, like I mentioned before, insulin resistance and belly fat accumulation. 90% of people have adrenal stress. And I say that because of the world we live in, especially now. We have all this stuff going on, and I literally have to force myself sometimes to slow down. So women over 40, this is a stat that I saw, especially high achieving. When I say high achieving, it doesn't have to be the movers and shakers and the grinders and the business owners and the entrepreneurs. Yes, I work with them and they're dealing with a lot of stress because then they do all this and then come home and take care of their families. Some of them are single mothers, some of them are married. So they're doing all this stuff, running businesses, and then they have a family to take care of. And some of us are taking care of other people. Some are taking care of grown adults. I consider you all high achieving women as well. But especially when you hit over 40, the odds are even higher. And I can say every woman I've met over 40 needs adrenal support. So we got to get to the root of what's going on so we can heal your body from the stress damage. I know this is a heavy one, but like I said, the more you understand your body, the more you can make sense of it for you. And this is what I'm helping you with. I'm actually telling you, stress is protective. Stress is working for you. But if you don't get your body out of danger, then it becomes chronic. And that's why we're in our 40s and up dealing with the things that we're dealing with. So the adrenal glands, if you don't know where they are, they're above the kidneys, okay? And there's small glands above the kidneys. And what they do is they manage our energy and stamina, our blood sugar balance, our immune responses, and also hormone production. And hormones isn't just the reproductive hormones. I think when we think of hormone balance, we just think of progesterone and estrogen, but cortisol is a hormone. Testosterone is a hormone. Insulin is a hormone. We got thyroid hormones. We got ghrelin and other hormones, leptin, that helps with our appetite. So hormones are messengers that tell the body what to do. So we need overall hormone health. And a lot of you may be having menopausal hormonal issues, and we go straight to the progesterone and the estrogen, when you might need cortisol management. You might need insulin management. It's not just progesterone and estrogen and getting those pellets and hoping you feel better. It could be some underlying things. Thyroid is a huge one, okay? So I'm taking my time with this one because this is so important. So here's the critical connection. I know I shared a lot, but this is the connection. Your metabolism depends on how well your adrenals function. So once those adrenals start breaking down, my diabetics, they even have poor adrenal function because when you're sleeping at night, your adrenals play a role in balancing your sugar levels. That's why when you wake up and you have spiked sugar levels, that's why we like to look at fasting glucose. When they're high when you wake up, you're told it's your sugar and your insulin, which is a part of it, but it's also your adrenals as well. So when they're exhausted, everything suffers. So we're addressing the blood pressure, we're addressing the diabetes, we're addressing everything else, but we're not giving the adrenals any love. We need to support those adrenals. And it's beyond ashwagandha, okay? That's another thing we do. We'll get those 1 or 2 herbs that we hear about, but we got to find out what is causing your adrenal stress. Okay, that's what we have to understand, and then use the remedies or the lifestyle changes that will support that. This is the kind of stuff you got to get into. I'm not like, oh, take your ashwagandha and go home. No, we got to open up the hood and see what's going on with your body. But here's some signs. When you exercise, you don't feel better, you feel worse. Actually, I love exercising first thing in the morning because it gives me energy. But if it's opposite for you, that's why I don't like working out at night. I work out at night and I'm like, whoa, what do I do now? I like to exercise in the morning to get going. But if it makes you feel worse, adrenal fatigue. If you don't like exercise, adrenal fatigue, all right? Can't tolerate much activity. That kind of goes with the first example. Water retention and bloating. You don't need another diuretic. It could be your adrenals. All right. Trying to help you put it together if you're on diuretics. Disclaimer. I'm not advising you to get off your meds. Don't do anything without supervision from a healthcare professional. All right. Crave sweets and salt. All right. I'm going to say it louder for the people in the back. You crave sweets and salt. Okay? That's a sign of adrenal exhaustion. Because think about it. Sometimes when we want these things is because we're stressed. It's our comfort food. And that leads us to the last one. Food improves your mood. All right? You got it? I hope you're writing this down. Vicious cycle. So you got the stress, you got the blood sugar chaos, you got the weight gain. And then you're stressed because you got the weight gain. And then because you're stressed, you get some sugar. You gain more weight. You get more stress, more blood sugar. Am I talking to somebody? Then the adrenals are like, dude, what are you doing? And it can't regulate. Because instead of supporting the body and saying, let me help you, we're constantly going through this cycle. That's why we got to reset our mindset and start to find healthier ways to do this. But if you understand what you're actually doing, then we can check ourselves and say, okay, let me stop this cycle. And it is a process to this. Then we're going to talk a little bit more about how to put all this together. But when your adrenals are exhausted, it can't regulate your blood sugar regularly. And it can't do other things as well. It can't regulate your blood pressure. It can't regulate digestion. A lot of things are affected when your adrenals can't function. So these are the result. Your cravings, overeating, and belly fat storage. But as we start to heal, you eventually not desire that craving for sugar and salt. Okay? So that's what we have to understand. We have to focus on the body, what it needs, and the rest will take care of itself. The immunity, we get those colds and flus a lot. Usually when we're stressed out, we end up getting sick, right? So the immunity is under attack. So during fight or flight, the non-essential functions shut down and the immune system's one of them. Remember before when I talk about fight or flight, it increases the heart rate, shuts down digestion and things like that. But when you're under attack, it considers the immune system non-essential, and this is why we tend to get sick during stressful times. One thing I like to say is at the end of the year, you got all these holidays, everything's going on, it's cold, you feel obligated to go to all these parties, you got relatives, you call it flu season, all right? You got all these holidays and people's eating all this candy. And I don't think it's flu season. I think it's just sugar indulgence season, and you're stressed out and you're attacking your immune system. So we got to start putting two and two together and stop going through life blindly and not realizing this. But anyway, let's talk about the stress relief toolkit. And here are some solutions. Meditation, prayer, that's on top. Prayer is my go-to. The other ones, deep breathing exercises. And that's an example I'm going to share with you later. Stretching. Some of you aren't even taking time to stretch. Quality sleep is important, especially in our menopause age. In our 20s, we can go, go, go. But in this time of our lives, it's time for us, and I'm guilty of it too, because I go, 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 go. But one thing I do get some of most of the time is some quality sleep. But for the most part, I do have a nice sleep routine, and I do get plenty of rest. And when I do sleep, I sleep very well. And also we have to nourish our bodies. So these are the top things that we really need to pay attention to as we heal our body. So this is the sample that I wanted to share with you. It is called the box breathing demo. And the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because it's the most simplest thing to do. Because there's a lot of complicated things out there, and most of us don't have the time or the energy to do that. But this is something that is real easy to do, and that's what I like. I like simple, something I can do just sitting at the kitchen table. You don't need any special tools or anything. And this is the 4-4-4-4 technique. Now I'm going to explain it and then I'll walk you through it if you want to do it yourself wherever you are. But let's try this out either now or later. But what you're going to do is breathe in for 4 seconds. Then you're going to hold it for 4 seconds. Breathe out for 4 seconds and hold for 4 seconds. And repeat this 4 to 8 times. Very simple to do. You could do this right when you wake up. You could do this right before a meeting. You can do this whenever. It's very easy to do and very powerful. And I'm going to walk you through it. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Again, in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is one of the best tools that I love across the board for people that I coach, and I don't have to worry about side effects or anything like that. But you use box breathing when you feel overwhelmed, before important meetings, before meals. Pray before a meal, breathe before a meal. And anytime you need a reset, you need to recharge. I have my routine when I do stuff. Before speaking on stages, I do my breathing exercise, okay? I've been doing speaking events for decades. I still get nervous, and I have to get in the back and breathe. It's just a part of stress. But like I said, a lot of us allow this stress, that's a normal part of life, to hold us back. And some of you will never speak in public or never start your business or go back to school because you're scared, you're nervous. Use that. Push through it anyway. And before you know it, you're just doing it. But you got to get through that pain of fear. You got to get through that pain of what if. You just do it. And that's how we have to approach a lot of areas of our lives, including healing. That's why it's important to have an accountability partner, a coach, a professional, a doctor, to let you know, oh man, I did this. Is this normal? Yes, it is. Keep going. But some of us are misinterpreting a lot of these signs and think it's like now we're in a world where what's good is bad and what's bad is good. And we talk about how hard it is to actually be healthy. The health should be the norm. But it's like in this world, it's a luxury. I don't get it. We think it's an inconvenience to be healthy. We think it's something we put on the back burner, but this should be our priority. This is our temple. This is the body we live in, and we need to take care of it. So this box breathing technique does shift you from that fight or flight to calm. Get out of danger first, right? You're not going to do it while that bear is behind you. All right, you're in danger. Don't be like, oh, no, that's not the time to do it. We need that stress to get out of danger. You need to start identifying your top 5 stressors and start to really think about what you're thinking about. What are they? And are there things you can do to manage it? Are there things you can get rid of? Are there things that you're just making up in your mind? I think worry is worrying about the past and anxiety is worrying about the future. Let's start focusing on now and what you can do now. Because some of you are making decisions based on the health you have, not the health you want. Okay? You're making decisions because you're tired. You're making decisions because you're overweight. You're making decisions because of all these things. You got to make decisions because you want to lose weight. You got to make decisions because you want to have more energy and move from that. But some of you are like, no, I ain't doing it. I'm tired. All right, what you going to do to generate energy so you can do the things that you want to do? This is what I'm talking about. This is what a lot of health coaches don't tell you. We got to get you out the way. It ain't me. It ain't the ashwagandha. It's you. And we got to help get you out the way so you can believe in yourself enough to stay consistent and to stay motivated and get healthy. Stop. Stop being sick. I don't want that for you. Practice stress relief. 10 minutes a day. Breathe. Because I just have to say this. It's just like I've been sick for so long and I didn't like it. I'm at this age where I'm losing friends in their 50s. Okay? I'm not okay with that. I've lost both my parents. I don't like seeing people die from lifestyle diseases. You're someone's mom. You're someone's dad. You're someone's uncle. Stop already. And just know that you deserve to thrive, not just survive. Start practicing a way to create the health that you want and stop supporting the health that you have. And you're doing that with comfort eating. You're doing that with medication. You're just supporting. That's all medication is doing, is supporting and masking your pain. If you're ready to get the help you need to thrive, to feel better, whatever your goals are, get off the high blood pressure meds. It's all possible. But I won't know until I see what's going on. But if you're like that person, I can't, I'm not ready, I don't want to, what if? That tells me you're not ready because you're still stuck in where you are now and not focused on where you want to go. Just remember this, managing your stress isn't selfish. That's another mindset a lot of women especially deal with. We don't take care of ourselves. We wait till the kids are in college and everything else before we take care of ourselves. But the time is now because it is essential for your health, your family, and your success. Your kids, your family will love you for this. And when you take care of your stress levels, you're taking a crucial step towards your metabolic health. And just know that you deserve to feel calm, energized, and in control. Love y'all and take care. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed the show, seal the deal to heal by leaving a review, subscribing to the podcast, and sharing with a friend. Thanks again, and we'll continue the journey next week.